At what point in my parenting did I go from lecturing to listening? I know it's probably gonna sound really crazy, but it had to be when Dalen started listening to all that Juice World. Because if you listen to all them sad, depressing, borderline self harm songs,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get the nudge to be like, okay, maybe I need to stop talking so much and see what the shout is going through.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point in time, you stop just there has to come a point in time as a parent when you stop knowing everything because you know everything according to you and
Mm.
you in your time frame. You don't know everything according to these kids in today's society and environment. So it was probably like his seventh, eighth grade year
Mm-hmm.
where you take more a backseat to the talking and you listen. Now Alonzo, I don't have a choice because he's not gonna let you talk. So you listen and you listen and you listen, and then you tailor your questions per child.
Mm-hmm.
Not the one shoe fits all scenario with my children.
Very true. I like that. So when the music became more than just the music, and then when the voice
Why did
of
it sound like an MTV or VH1 series behind the
I,
music?
I know, right?
The music is more than the music.
Well,
Okay,
the
but yeah,
music became more the music, and then the voice. You went from, I'm not saying Dalen didn't talk, but you know what I'm saying, to having a more expressive child.
right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, that's different because Dalen, he was a quiet child. He's still
Mhm.
a quiet teenager.
Yeah,
And Alonzo, that's not the case.
no,
Mm-mm.
not at all. Let's see. For me, I think when I became self-aware and I noticed myself reacting to stuff, and then I seen him be aware of me reacting, like, "Mama, gosh, just let me, and you talking over me, and just let me say something." Like those episodes, and just taking a step back and pausing and not trying to instantly react and just let him speak and articulate what he got to say. And then if he wants advice, or I feel like it needs advice, then slowly bridge into um lecturing or getting his input and then catering the advice. Not lecturing, but catering the advice to the situation. So yeah, me noticing that I was reacting and jumping immediately into lecturing, and also his response to that helped me jumping into more of a listening mode.
Can you put an age on that or grade when that happened?
I would definitely say middle school for sure. Like you said, he's not a talkative kid. He's probably right in the middle between Alonzo and Jalen. He talks more than Jalen, but not as much as Alonzo. Um, but definitely in middle school when he became aware of like how I responded to stuff. So hand it off to Tanisha. What about you?
I would say it's different for me since my kids are still partially developing and expressing themselves, coming out and telling something that they could be, afraid of sharing, embarrassed to share. So kind of similar to Celeste, like Traden, he's really reserved. He won't really talk about something sometimes unless he's like really, really excited. And then sometimes I don't think he understands like even a small accomplishment is a big accomplishment. So let's talk about that too. But for me, I don't, this could be viewed as lecturing, but I feel like I ask questions first to gauge where they're at. And then sometimes based on their answers to the questions, that'll let me know, okay, keep on asking questions, or you've asked the right questions, or just keep on talking, because you can assume whatever you want to. But it's really not gonna help you really sort out that problem or help that person sort out that problem until you actually direct it to them and let them know. Um, so Kesslin, of course, y'all know she's a little chatterbox, so she'll talk about anything. Like, she gets in trouble at school, she's pulling her paper out of her backpack and she's like, "Mama, I came home on yellow," because it's like disappointing to her, which is also a positive, because if she's that disappointed by it, then you know that it was like really nothing intentional or deceiving, like she didn't mean to do it. So
Mhm.
it's kind of where I'm at.
I want to know what she came home on yellow for.
Pick something. Pick something.
What's it? Oh, she threw something. She was snapping somebody. Or no, she asked this girl to use her pencil.
Okay, the pencil
And the girl,
story.
yeah, the girl said no, and so she snatched it from her.
What's your face? Oh, the infamous pencil story. It lives
The
on.
infamous pencil story. That is what that's gonna be.
Because she straight out told her daddy, but told him a completely different story. And he
Mm-mm.
had to ask a question, and she was like, "Well," so, but yeah, she'll just come out and say it.
Mm. Yeah, I like
Mm-hmm.
that, asking questions. I think that is a phase too that helped. Taking that pause and asking clarifying questions. I don't say I'm assume, but I jump to react first. But now I'm just asking questions more instead of jumping to lecturing. So yeah, that's a good one. Ask the questions just to see where they're at.
Yeah, I feel like asking questions too, because in today's society, especially us having African American sons, they ain't always gonna have that chance to speak, and their side of the story isn't always told. So I like to give people opportunity to tell their side of the story.
Mhm. And I because I have an only child, I've witnessed that with both of y'all. As if something happens between two children, just say what's your side of the story. Don't necessarily assume or even project to say, well, Alonzo told me that you did this, Jalen. Now, what's your side of? Just say, hey, what happened? Tell me your side of the story, and that has definitely helped as a from an auntie perspective.
And even like when they all
Yeah.
together, somebody comes out of the room crying. You can always go to trading because normally it's Kesslin and Alonzo into Kesslin comes out trying. Alonzo then already you talking too much, so I know you're lying. Trading, what happened? And then we go from there. And we go from there.
And then even giving them opportunity, like today, Lonzo was over at the house. He came in the house. Kesslin said, da, 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 da. Ain't you gonna punish her? Ain't you gonna no consequences for this? So I asked Kesslin, like, what happened in the kitchen? What did you say? Like, she came out and said what she said. It's Kesslin. And then I was like, okay, is that polite? Is that something nice to say? And then, asking them questions so they'll be able to identify on their own eventually, instead of saying, well, you shouldn't have done that. It's like getting their opinion on it too. And then, heck, sometimes what do you think your punishment should be for this?
Hmm.
Letting them like make those choices, or at least like some type of negotiation. So it's not like, I can't come to you because you don't listen to me. I can't come to you because you don't hear me. No, you had a lot to say in this conversation.
Hmm. That's
Mm-hmm.
true. I teeter between the negotiation phase and the options because sometimes that backfires with my child. And just ask, it spirals into a whole bunch of questions versus you did this and this is your punishment or whatever consequence. Yeah, because he'll negotiate his way all the way out with consequences.
See, and that's why you don't give kids option.
That's yeah. Depends on the situation for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, because Trayton tried to punish himself, and I was like, "Now, how long do you think this should last?" And he said 5 weeks. I said, "You realize that that's a month and a week, right?" And he was like, "I was like, at minimum," I said, "maybe a week we can start there." And he was like, "Okay,
Mm.
2 weeks." So it was like that negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's
guess
true.
for me, I feel like my biggest fear is teaching them while they're young, while they're ready to learn, because you can't wait for that situation to present itself because then they ain't gonna know what to do and they'll never know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like they may not make sense of it right now, they may not understand it right now, but they can have something to look back on and say, well, something similar to this situation happened, and here's how, I was taught, whether they revise it a little bit or not, but here's how I was taught to deal with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's everything. Like, we be driving up down the street. What does that sign mean? What is this telling you? Like, what are you supposed to do if this happens, you know, with somebody? Like conflict resolution. Because I just feel like if you, there, I don't like the, well, they're just children, because you're causing them to be very codependent,
Mm-hmm.
by managing everything yourself and keeping them isolated in the they're just children.
Right. I definitely agree. Anything else to add?
I think we covered everything.
All right. So, in our discussion from lecturing to listening, you can type into either their personality style. If they're a talkative child, let them have the space to talk. If they're not a talkative child, just observing different areas of their life, if that's music, um, or seeing how they respond to how you react to understand your relationship with them, and then also asking questions to know how to make that pivot from lecturing to listening. So, we want to thank you all for joining us on Sisters on the Sideline. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for joining. Where's the recording button?